Evening, good afternoon, good morning, Fabulites. This is Angela with a little bass in my voice and with another edition of Notes on the News. Not news, where I read to you headlines from my news feed and share with you my thoughts about those headlines, those stories, the subject matter at large, if I have any thoughts that I feel like sharing at the moment. But as I said, it's not news, it's just my notes on the news. I am Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, and consider subscribing if you're not already a subscriber. We're working on 200 charter subscribers. That could be you if it's not already you. All right, let's go. Let us proceed. Man charged with Mumbai airport bomb threat. He said Bombay. They thought he said boom high or something, which sounds very similar, I'm imagining. So he was trying to figure out when he says he was trying to figure out when is my flight from Bombay to Detroit or Bombay to wherever he was going. It's delayed. What's going on? He's on the phone with the people, and the people say that they thought that he was saying, I got a bomb. And so that's what had happened. So I'm kind of like, I want to hear I wouldn't understand the conversation, but we need to analyze the conversation to understand the context. You know, when just like on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, when the man came into Phaedra's office and she says that he said, I got this CD and it's the bomb. And the people at the desk say that he said, I'm coming to see the D and I got a bomb. We need to roll the tape so we can hear what happened. But anyway, it's not really a joking matter, but it's just like, it kind of seems like, I don't know. And maybe because the person's flight was delayed, maybe they were upset. So their tone threw the person off who answered the phone. And that's why, or maybe the person, I don't know. But I don't understand. It seems like people would say, and people call Bombay, used to call it Bombay. I guess that was the British name for it. In Mumbai, when I went, they were calling it Mumbai. But people also said Bombay all the time. So I don't really, maybe these days nobody says Bombay. So the only time you hear that is when somebody is saying Bombay. I don't know. Georgia woman goes into complete racist rage at Dollar Tree store, then claims she's a victim. I'm just going by the headline. It fits the profile. It fits the profile. It fits the profile. Monuments in black business. Johnson Products sells to white owners. I think this is a throwback story, or maybe Black Enterprise is doing a throwback story, and then the people over at Financial Juneteenth are covering what Black Enterprise is doing. I don't think that this is like up to the moment news in terms of Johnson products selling to white owners, but I don't know. Study shows men spend twice as much money as women during the holidays. Well, I know when I was like much more actively involved with sales, women, like, I have a cousin who, in general, it seems like my female clients, they asked a lot more questions. They did in-depth analysis on every decision that they made, or were more inclined to be like that. Whereas the men were just like, how much is it? Can you get it wrapped? It was a whole different kind of vibration. It was, a lot of people felt that it was like much easier to sell to men than to sell to women. But women are usually the ones who are making the buying decisions. So, if you sell to a man, you more or less know that's like a one-time thing. Although he will come back to you. If you stay in touch with him, you can get him, for when he forget, oh my gosh, it's Administrative Assistance Day. If you call him and knock on his door at the right time, oh yeah, I'll buy everything, But anyway, I didn't know that there was a study, but that's certainly been my experience. Joe Budden confirms he's moving from Complex to Black-owned Revolt TV. Is that Diddy's channel? I didn't know it was Black-owned. I want to understand the ownership structure, because something I read said that he had like a small percentage ownership and it was basically like just his name on it. But I don't know if that's true or not. I tried to do some research a few months ago, but I didn't really try it like real hard. The NBA's top paid black coaches. I wonder how much they make. And I would think that the career path to becoming a black coach would be to be an athlete. Like, I couldn't just be like, hey, I would be a basketball coach. They ain't got no coach school or nothing, do they? Yeah, I didn't think so. A suspicious package forced a terminal to shut down at a California airport. How to gauge when it's too dangerously cold to go outside. We've been having this cold spell. They say 16 degrees below or something. They said, I'm like, it's too cold. It's too dangerous for me to go outside right now. Like, it's cold. But I guess when it reaches certain types of temperatures, you can like have, instantaneous freezing. Like freezing on touch, type situation. So you go outside and you got frostbite and you just jacked up. Let me not tell y'all my awful, horrible conspiracy theories. Meet the 34-year-old founder of Stitch Fix, who just became one of America's richest self-made women. A lot of times when you see these lists of the wealthiest people, and they're not, they've inherited their money. So, you don't see a lot of women who are, who are self-made. So, there's this propaganda out here that if you work hard, then you get it. And black people and women are some of the hardest working people. And you don't see a lot of self-made. I think it's just some bull. What you think? Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean, I believe in hard work now. Don't get me wrong. But I think that's just because it's good for your soul. Learning music and playing chess might not make you any smarter, according to 3 decades of research. I feel like the research been telling me every time I see a study, they be like, play the music for the children, classical music. Teach the children chess, that'll make them smarter. So when these 3 decades happen? The man held hostage with his family by the Taliban for 5 years faces 15 criminal charges after his return to Canada. I don't know if y'all remember him, but he and his wife, and they had 2 or 3 children in captivity. And when they got rescued, America came and had come on, we got y'all, let's go. And the man is like, I'm not getting on no American vehicle. I'm waiting for the Canadian vehicle. And it was kind of like, well, what? But anyway, his wife says that, he is, you have to be accountable for your actions, but he's traumatized by what happened when he was in captivity. So that's explaining why he's behaving the way that he's behaving. It's kind of like when I guess good is like that too, maybe. When you do good, it like, boils over and, but it's kind of like some of this evilment. It just seems like it has the potential to just cause more evilment and more evilment and more evilment. So, McMafia, the scale of human trafficking in numbers. I don't know what McMafia is. China's uphill struggle fighting extreme poverty. Silicon Valley elites are spending $60 for less than 3 gallons of dangerous, unfiltered water, and it's flying off the shelves. I think they're calling it free water or something like that. $60 for less than 3 gallons. That's like $20 a gallon. But this article made me think about, like in a lot of science fiction work, movies, books and stuff, there's this idea or this concept of people paying for things like water and food and, and not water and food, but water and air, and food, because we already pay for food. So it just kind of got me thinking about that. So this water, is kind of like, when people get raw milk, I guess it's better because it hasn't been heated and, they feel that it's better. And I've had some raw cheese and it certainly tastes much better. And they say that the process of pasteurization, kills stuff and jacks stuff up. So I think that that's their theory with the water. They want the water that is, untreated, unchemicalized, it's pure, it's better. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm like almost $20 for a gallon of water. And I pay for water. I don't pay no $20, but I mean, Kim Jong-un's choice of a Western style suit may indicate a desire to change his image. Kitten rescued by police from busy Auckland motorway. It was so cute. Delta is offering travel waivers as cold weather bomb storm bears down on the East Coast. So they already know they're going to have to cancel stuff because the weather is going to be jacked up. So they already telling you, and they say other airlines are going to follow. So if you're going to be traveling then it's going to be some stuff that's going to be canceled, and it's not going to, because stuff doesn't operate in the extreme cold, does it? Zambia Foreign Minister Harry Kalaba resigns over greed. And not his greed, but the greed of, the people who are running the government. He's making a statement. But this is the same government, Zambia, if I'm not mistaken, where the president just had something done, or the leader just had something done where he could run for a third term, but he's only supposed to run for 2 terms. But then I read in this article, I think it was this article, where he said, well, when I started my term, I didn't get a full term in, so that term should not count. Sort of like, the whole Conyers thing. Did y'all see? I didn't see anything about this whole Conyers seat that's sitting open on the on Congress. John Conyers, who stepped down, who is from, represents Detroit, and there's a young man who was on the news yesterday, and he was like, leaving that seat open is some bull. We not represented, and we protest, and I'm suing you. This is some bull. This is like in alignment with voter suppression. You're suppressing our voice. You're suppressing our contribution. We not there. We not represented. This is taxation without representation. So, and then I just think it's so interesting that, Conyers, of all the Congress people, Conyers, who has been very progressive. Like, he's the one who puts up the reparations bill every year. Who gonna do that when he gone? So he's probably been up there acting like he from Detroit or something like that. And these people are probably glad to have him gone someplace. I wonder if my thing is gonna freeze being up against this window. Iceland has made it illegal to pay women less than men, or to say it another way, to pay men more than women. If you have more than 25 people working here, we need to see the records of how the people are getting paid, and the men and the women. It can't be Iceland. Shoot, I like that, Iceland. India caste protest disrupts Mumbai. And I feel like, I'm like, when I was in India and I saw the lowest I guess I knew before. That's when I'm like, dang, it's not just, in the United States that as a dark person, you just at the bottom of the barrel. It's not just in the Caribbean where as a dark person, you just at the bottom of the barrel. It's like all over the world. The dark person is just at the bottom of the barrel. So I'm all here for the untouchables. They have another name that they use for them, but I'm all for them protesting and fighting for their rights, because I know that they're discriminated against and dogged out, and it's some bull. So that's how I feel about it. And I feel like, why are they the only ones who are, that caste is the one that's supposed to clean out toilets? Now, there's a whole spiritual, religious, cultural context that I don't understand, but I do understand bull. So and that's what I said. That's how I feel about it. I don't care. A Ryanair passenger took the emergency exit and climbed onto the wing after his plane was delayed. I think they were at their destination, and they had him sitting there for a half hour, and he like, I got to go. So he opened up the emergency exit and went out the wing, over the wing. But they did catch up with him. But who does that? I mean, that's like some urgency. I ain't climbing out the side of no plane. I guess the little planes, maybe you look out and it don't look that, but I'm like, who does that? I mean, it's a sense of urgency. Argentina's parliament sacks Noki phantom workers. So people who are on the payroll and they getting paid, but they don't show up, they don't do a job. Their job is just to collect their check. And they probably don't even have to collect a check. They probably get direct deposit. And they call them Noki, like white ghost, I guess. I don't know. New York to install 1,500 security barriers after vehicle attacks. Pro-diversity group Diversity VC is planning to expand to the U.S. Now, VC are people who are venture capitalists. And I would love, I've claimed this, to have enough capital to venture into investing into other people's businesses. I'm just fascinated by venture capitalism. Because, venture capitalists. Because, the thing about when you have a lot of money, putting it in the bank, you losing money, it's like like once you get to a certain point, you have to figure out how to keep it growing. And it sounds like an easy job, but it's not really as easy as you think it is. It's like they got to work. So finding these businesses to invest in, because for the most part, that's the best way to make a whole bunch of money in businesses. Your return is the best for the most part. Mike Tyson wants to grow marijuana and offer premium glamping on a 40-acre plot of land in Southern California. I don't smoke, but I'm just really interested to see how all of this stuff is unfolding with, this marijuana thing. When I was in Amsterdam, and you go to the cafes and they selling this, I was just like, this is just fascinating. That and the whole culture, that they have in Amsterdam. And also the fact that when you ride around, a lot of windows are not covered. Like, do they have a non-curtain culture in Amsterdam and in the Netherlands? Because I noticed that all over. I'm like, you could just look in, and I was fascinated. I love a window and a door. I like to look in through. I'm interested in what they doing in there. I never saw anything. Only the most perceptive people can spot the differences between nearly identical images. You know that game where you have to look at two images and find the 6 things that are different between the two? I don't know if I'm good at it or not, but I do like to play that game. KFC slams McDonald's in a tweet inspired by Zero's nuclear button. And they we got a big burger on our desk too, and it's bigger and it's ready or something. I don't know. I don't know if I thought it was funny or not, but it's almost like we have to laugh to keep from crying. Did it work? American Apparel has a new look created by women, but it's still risque. Here's why. They had this whole theory, but I had a couple different thoughts about it. One thought is that I think that there is racism and there is sexism that's located in people, and there's also racism and sexism that's located in the system. It's called systemic racism, systemic sexism. So no matter who's in power, what person, the system has its own way of operating that favors certain things and disfavors other things. So that was one way that I thought about it. And then I thought, they say that when women do pornography, for the most part, they do pornography different from the way that men do pornography. And some women really like woman porn because it's more to our sensibilities. So maybe these ads are still risque, but more to our sensibilities, or maybe they just acting as agents of the racist, sexist, jacked up system, even though they're women in control, in power. I don't know. Peru Pasamayo, bus plunges off a cliff, rest in peace. I think it was almost 50 people who made their transition. I don't know what happened, but, peace for you all as you make your transition. If it's finished or not, I don't really know how all of that worked. Peace to your family and your community, and peace to all of us. Berlin reels after 9 inmates escape. Plotzency prison. I think it was 9 inmates in 5 days. A couple of them went out the window. A couple of them went out here. And the people were like, you just out of control. But their numbers for this year are not worse than their numbers for last year. Ethiopia to release all political prisoners, says Prime Minister. What does that mean? I didn't even know Ethiopia had prisoners, political prisoners. Ethiopia was like my dream. Some Ethiopian language was like my dream language to learn, because I feel like those people have had more freedom as black people in the world than any other African country. That was my theory, but I don't like to hear about these political prisoners. Now, people need to have a voice, god dog it. Storm Eleanor. Northern Europe suffers power cuts and disruption. Oh. In a changing Mongolia, higher stakes for out-of-school herding boys. In Mongolia, it's more common for boys to be out of school than it is for girls to be out of school. You know, in most of the world, girls have less education, have less educational opportunities, get less education. The education of girls is less valued than in boys. But in Mongolia, once they went from a state-run herding system to a capitalistic herding system, the family put the boys out to run the herds, so they don't go to school on a regular. Iran protests. General declares sedition defeated. All right, and we're back. That's it. That's it for this edition of Notes on the News. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Today is the best day ever, baby. Bye.